Hello Inklings, it's Bianca and welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be talking about all of the books I read in June of 2025 for my Project TBR Zero. This is where I try to read all of the physical books I own, and this is officially my 18th month doing this challenge. So let's see how I did. I am starting the month off with 280 books to read. The first book I read is Adrift in Currents Clean and Clear by Shannon Maguire. I really enjoyed this book. I love this whole series. I've lost track of how many books there are. I think maybe 10 or 11. But they're great if you love portal fantasies. They are a bit more adult. Just the themes are a bit more violent. But that is a book I own. Started off pretty well. Next, I read the Mistletoe Mystery, which I don't own a copy of. This is a short story in the universe of The Maid by Anita Prose. I'm actually really loving this series. I think it's the third book and it's like a Christmas special. So June is winter for me and I really loved reading it during that time of year. It was cold and cozy and it's one of my favorite series now, I have to say. So I'm probably going to be buying a copy of it at some stage when I can get my hands on it. And then there's one book left in that series that I need to read. Next, I very sadly DNF'd The Baby Dragon Cafe, so I will be unhauling this one. I did really like the beginning of it. It was really fun. I liked how they were talking about her cafe that she owns and the food and things that she makes there, and the baby dragons were introduced. And then I just kind of lost interest around 50 to 60% of the way through, and I just don't care enough to finish. Yeah, I think that's a pretty common experience from what I've seen. So unfortunately, that's going to be an unhaul from me. Next, I don't own a copy of this one either, but it is the sequel to the Dalaga Dream Department Store, and it's called The Return to the Dalaga Dream Department Store. If you watched last month's video, you would have seen how much I loved this one, so naturally I had to read the sequel immediately. I do believe it is a duology, so that is the end of the series, but I might pick it up if I do spot it in a bookstore. It's about a world where when you dream, you can go to this Dalaga Dream Department Store and purchase a dream for yourself. So in the second book, we get a bit more into the lore of things. And I do think that's the one where they introduce lucid dreaming. So I really enjoyed that one. And I highly recommend both the books if you haven't read them yet. And I'm really interested to see what else this author has written. It's Miley. Then, if you've been keeping up to date with my Read It or Weed It challenge, where I try to read the books that I've owned for over 5 years, you would have seen that I finished Jane in Love. So I do have a video up where I talk a bit more about this in depth, but if you're interested in that series, I go through an old spreadsheet that I have where I track the books I bought in 2020, and it is currently 5 years later, and I have to read the books or unhaul them within a month. So I did actually manage to finish this one and I really enjoyed it. So go check out that video if you haven't yet. That was very satisfying that I managed to finish one of the first books from that challenge. Okay, next I read Nevermore. So I do own a copy of this one, but this was a reread for me. So unfortunately, this is going to have to go in my other read category for this time around, sadly. But I do highly recommend Nevermore if you've never read it. It's about a girl who is cursed. She believes she is cursed. I'll read you the blurb so that I don't give too much away. Morrigan Crow is cursed. Born on an unlucky day, she is blamed for all local misfortunes, from hailstorms to heart attacks, and Worst of all, the curse means that Morrigan is doomed to die at midnight on eventide. But as Morrigan awaits her fate, a strange and remarkable man named Jupiter North appears. Chased by black smoke hounds and shadowy hunters on horseback, he whisks her away to a secret, magical city called Nevermore. To stay in the safety of Nevermore for good, Morrigan will need to pass 4 difficult and dangerous trials, or she'll have to leave the city and confront her deadly fate. So this is a middle grade series, but it's one of my favorites. And I was fortunate enough to go to a talk where Jessica Townsend was talking to AJ Betts. And now this is going to explain why I ended up buying a few books. So I was at the talk, of course, between Jessica and AJ, and I thought it was so good. They did such an amazing job. So Jessica is an Australian author, and then AJ Betts is a local author in Perth, and I just loved hearing her talk, so I ended up buying 5 of her books to support her while I was there. So I need to add all of these to my spreadsheet, and I might read the blurbs to you guys just to spread a bit more awareness of her books. So first up we have Wavelength. So this says, Oliver's world has shrunk. It's about his final exams. It's about the magic 80 average he needs to get into uni, get his dream job, and get cashed up, if only he can focus. Away from the chaos of home and his mum's booming muffin business, a study break in the small coastal town where his dad lives sounds ideal. But Oliver arrives cashless, bookless, phoneless, and fuming to find his study refuge is home to an array of elderly citizens and a girl who seems to hate him on sight. Sunny Haven Recreation and Leisure Centre is like some weird universe where nobody is on the same wavelength. Very interesting, and I'm actually really considering doing a bit of a fun video with all of these books, so do stay tuned. Next, One Song by AJ Betts. Aspiring singer-songwriter Eva has one last chance to enter Triple J Unearthed High and break into the music industry. But after 3 failed attempts, she needs some help. Cue the band: Perfectionist Eva, Charismatic Cooper, Easygoing Ant, and Moody Ruby. Plus, fly-on-the-wall Mim, who's filming them for her school media project. 5 people who have nothing in common but music. One emotionally and creatively charged weekend. Can they record the most important song of their lives? Okay, this sounds super fun. I don't know if anybody watched Lemonade Mouth growing up, but my sister and I loved that show, and we are also convinced that it was kind of based off of a book by a Afrikaans author called Suurlemoen, which means lemon, and yeah, we're convinced it's the same story. There's also a Suurlemoen movie, if I remember correctly, so might be due for a reread of that as well. Okay, then there is this duology, I believe, so Hive and Rogue. Okay, I think Hive is the first book. All I can tell you is what I remember in the words that I have. Haley tends to her bees and follows the rules in the only world she has ever known, until she witnesses the impossible. A drip from the ceiling. A drip? It doesn't make sense. Yet she hears it, catches it, tastes it. Curiosity is a hook. What starts as a drip leads to a lie, a death, a boy, a beast, and too many awful questions. Okay, interesting. I'm not going to read the blurb of the second one in case there's any spoilers, but I think she said this is like a dystopian series. So, very intrigued. I ended up being able to have a little chat with her, and she was so nice too. And yeah, dystopia is perfect since I am on a bit of a kick since my Hunger Games reread, so very keen to read more dystopia. And then lastly, Zach and Mia. I feel like this is her most recent book. I might make a whole video just talking about all of these, so we'll see. The last person Zach expects in the room next door is a girl like Mia, angry and feisty with questionable taste in music. In the real world, he couldn't be friends with her. In hospital, different rules apply. and what begins as a knock on the wall leads to a note, then a friendship neither of them sees coming. You need courage to be in hospital, different courage to be back in the real world. In one of these worlds, Zach needs Mia, and in the other, Mia needs Zach. Or maybe they both need each other. Always. Okay? Almost making me tear up a little bit. And reading that blurb has now made me want to reread The Fault in Our Stars. I haven't actually reread John Green's books in quite a long time, but that might be a whole other video idea too. Okay, so those are all of AJ Bett's books that I bought, but I did buy 2 more books. Okay, so number 1, Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood. So I do think this is the sequel to Not in Love. And yeah, I'm very intrigued to see what happens in this one. I'm considering doing a vlog where I read some of my most anticipated books of 2025, since this was one of them. And then last but definitely not least, I had to get a copy of Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. So I'm very, very curious to see what she's going to be doing in this book. So my favorite book by her is probably The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and Daisy Jones and the Six. They're a tie. I haven't read Carrie Soto yet, but I've read pretty much every single other book by her. So yeah, of course, I had to pick this one up, and I'm super curious what she did with the astronaut and like the STEM type book. So very interested in this one. And let me know if you guys would like to see like a spoilery vlog for some of these books. My channel is now able to get memberships, so I am considering doing like spoilery vlogs and start a channel membership. But let me know if you guys would be interested in that, and whether you'd want me to do themed videos for that, or maybe reading one book at a time. I'm not sure what I want to do yet, but let me know. I'm also considering doing some spreadsheet tutorials and showing you guys how I make some of my spreadsheets that I sell in my shop if I do start a membership. Like, lots of people have been asking me how to make more of the bookshelves, so I think that could be cool to do for membership videos, since I do sell some of these in my shop. This spreadsheet that I'm using in this video, you can buy. It works with all of the calculations and everything. And the colors are slightly different to the ones I'm using, but I still think it's a really pretty spreadsheet. And then I do have a tutorial where I show you guys how to make these types of bookshelves, but the other way around, I might do that in a membership video. But let me know down below if you would be interested in joining a channel membership, and what types of videos you would be interested in seeing from me as well. And okay, so month 6, we are ending the month with more books than we started with, so we went backwards a little bit. So we have 284 books to read. I probably do need to go on a book buying ban soon. It's currently the start of August, so I still need to film my July wrap up, but I'm so close to getting caught up with these videos, and that's made me so very happy. If you have watched up to here, please leave a turtle emoji in honor of Adrift in Currents Clean and Clear, one of my favorite books of the year so far. And thank you so very much for watching. I will see you next time. Keep reading, Inklings. Bye!